2014 has come and gone, but some stories are too good to let go of just yet.
We're going to relive some of our favorite memories of 2014 on the January edition of Lake Area Beat.
Welcome to the new year. I'm your host, Trace Minarchek.
And I'm Ron Hawkins. So it's 2015. What do you think?
Well, I'm looking forward to 2015. We did some fun shows last year, and I hope we do some more fun shows this year.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that's a great goal to have.
I think so too. And if you could sum up last winter in one word, what would it be?
Way too cold. Hyphenated.
Hyphenated brutal?
Yes.
Yet we both braved the icy waters of White Bear Lake to raise money for the Special Olympics of Minnesota. Here's a look at the Ron Cam. I don't know if it's going to be too cold this year. The weather's been warm and cold, so I'm hoping for a little bit warm swing this year. How about you?
I tell you, yeah, it's every time we do the plunge, you're looking at the forecast the few days prior to, and then you kind of think, oh my gosh, it's going to be 10 degrees, and it's going to be cold out there.
I know.
So, but it's a fun time. It's a good cause.
Good cause, great cause.
Yeah. Well, the ice rescue team who helps us out on White Bear Lake during the plunge must maintain their skills even in the toughest conditions.
Take a look.
That ice is pretty thick.
Don't put yourself in a spot where you're risking your life or the life of someone else. If you don't know the lake, if you've never been on the lake, it's not a time to go out for a joyride.
Ice fishing is a pastime that helps many Minnesotans survive long winters, but nearly every year people die after falling through ice. 4 people died last winter, including a 9-month-old baby. The Ramsey County Sheriff's Department's Water Patrol functions as a rescue unit and conducts drills during winter.
If he doesn't respond, maybe he's frozen to the ice, maybe he's beyond response.
Deputy and diver Mike Servatka says rescuers must be ready when a call comes in. People who go through ice have little time before they lose dexterity.
So we have to respond quickly. We got to be ready. You know, you're looking at 5 to 10 minutes the minute you get the call that you have to get there and get in the water and rescue a person.
The suits divers wear are buoyant and cumbersome. It's hard to move around in and on top of the water, but they're warm and keep divers dry. In addition to emergency calls, divers are on site during special events.
We're in the hole at the Polar Bear Plunge in case there's that one person who might not be able to get out due to the cold, and we just want to ensure everybody's safety and have a fun event. I think everybody here will attest that we really enjoy working the Polar Bear Plunge.
Servatka says even though ice may be thick, there are still soft spots where cars go through. He says it's a good idea to call local bait shops or the Sheriff's Department to check thickness and danger spots. He says staying off during bad weather is also a good idea.
Like today, you can see the weather's pretty bad. The weather's bad, there's another reason not to be out there. You got a lot of people that like to ice fish, and they kind of pick the wrong time maybe to go out there, and they put themselves in danger.
Last month, we highlighted the men of the White Bear Lake Police Department sporting mustaches for Movember. But earlier in the year, we got to know the ladies.
Here's a story that hopefully helped residents understand there's more than one female officer in White Bear Lake. Hi, I'm Tracy Minarchuk, and I am one of actually 6 female police officers here at the White Bear Lake Police Department. Yes, there's more than one of us. I don't work every day, and I don't work every shift. And I thought, what better thing to do but bring you here to the White Bear Lake Police Department, where we can meet the other 5 female police officers. So come on with me and let's go meet one of them now. So I'm Tracy, and this is Julie Swanson, our Chief of Police. You said you get confused for Officer Angie Rohow. What do you think that is, I think?
Well, we were both school resource officers, and we both have kids in the area, and it could be that, or it could just be because of that same mentality that there's only one of us.
Oh, look! I found another female officer. What about your reaction that you get from the public going to a call and showing up as a female police officer? Maybe they're calling for something and you get there and they give you a look. Do you ever get that?
I do. They kind of go, oh, they sent the female, they sent the girl. They ran from us, and because we were girls, and we tackled him in the candy aisle of the gas station, and we ended up fighting and catching him, and he said that the reason he ran was because we were girls and we couldn't catch him.
And now he's learned his lesson.
Didn't work out for him.
I found Officer Angie Rohow.
With Jen, I joke that, you know, we're twins and she's the evil one. I've been recently mistaken for the chief. Someone at the Holiday gas station came up and congratulated me on my new chief job, and I thought that was awesome because I hadn't even applied for it.
So now we're going to see if we can find Detective Jen Kraus. Hi there.
Hi there.
Have you been confused for one of the other female officers?
All the time, and I don't get it because I feel like everybody's very different and has a different method that they work. I get called Tracy a lot, which I feel bad because you're very lean. Or they call me Heidi, which is offensive because I don't yell.
Shut up.
And I get called Angie a lot.
Angie?
I used to wear glasses. And we both wear blue shirts.
Huh. So there's that. You're both female.
And we wear blue shirts.
And you wear the same outfit. So last but certainly not least, my evil twin, Officer Heidi Murphy, or so people think.
I got confused for Officer Jen Kraus one time, but that person was intoxicated, so that might have had something to do with it. I usually get confused for you. When I was working in the schools, I was walking out one day, and this gentleman started commenting on the show and about him seeing you on the show the previous night. I tried to politely tell him that wasn't me. He argued with me, yeah, you on the show. It wasn't, so after about 2 minutes of trying to argue, I just gave up and said, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for watching.
So I just want to thank all the female officers, all 6 of them, for being on the show. I want to thank you guys for the job that you do every day. And to the viewers, I just want you to know the next time you see one of us, remember, currently there's 6 of us, and who knows, we might have more someday. So thanks again.
So have you gotten some feedback from that story?
Not so much about the story, but I think people now, where they used to argue with me that I really was a different officer and that I wasn't really myself, Now they're a little bit more accepting, and they go, oh, okay, that wasn't you, that was somebody else.
So another female officer would take a report, and then they would talk to you later
Yeah.
and assume that you were the same
And they go, like 12 hours later, oh, you were here last night. Nope, I wasn't. And they'd argue, and yes. And so now they're a little more accepting. Oh, and then they look at me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a great story, though. I like that.
Thanks, it was a lot of fun. We're going to take a break, but first,
Here's Sergeant John Vetty with some advice to help prevent a home burglary.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sergeant John Vetty with this month's safety tip. A home burglary takes place every 15 seconds in the United States, and there's been a spike in residential burglaries in White Bear Lake. I'd like to give you some ways to prevent your home from being targeted. One of the most effective tools against crime is knowing your neighbors. We have annual events like Night to Unite designed to get neighbors talking, but it's really in your best interest to know each other. That way, when something looks suspicious or someone suspicious is walking around your neighborhood or going door to door, you can call police. Second, when you're not home, leave lights, the radio, or television on to make it appear as if you're home. If you can, vary times you come and go from your home. And if you have several cars, vary who drives them, making it more difficult for an observer to know who's home and when. Consider motion-activated lights. Take a walk around your property to find the weakest link. Burglars often pick back doors, secluded doors, and the door from your garage to enter your home. Be cautious of who you let into your home and how much information you give out about your schedule. This can include neighbors you don't know well or don't fully trust. And finally, get an alarm. They help deter burglaries in your home significantly. If you'd like to discuss more ways to prevent a home burglary, the police department is always happy to make connections with residents. I'm John Vetty, and we'll see you next time.
Extra DWI enforcement is now being served on Minnesota roads. Don't be what you drink.
welcome back. The time between prom and graduation parties is considered the 100 deadliest days for teenage drivers.
A group of students at White Bear Lake High School reminded classmates the dangers of driving drunk and distracted at any time.
Yeah, whatever, that sounds good. Definitely want that one.
Guys, you guys all gotta go. Sorry, my parents are coming home early. I can drive, you guys. I'm trying to sober up. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'll go with you then, right? Yeah, I'll go with you.
I want the next chance. Yeah. Haley, stay sexy. I will.
Hey, do we know them?
Just go step over there. How about...
Were you driving this vehicle? Okay.
I knew this.
I know those Andy.
Have you been drinking tonight? You have been drinking tonight. How much have you had?
I thought I was sobered up by now.
Okay, and how did you get in the accident today? Do you know what happened?
I don't know, just swerved and hit them.
This is going to be a series of 9 heel-to-toe steps. It's called the preliminary breath test. Let me blow on this one. Okay, it says you're over the legal limit today. Turn around for me. You're arrested for drinking and driving. You understand?
Copy, 2 No, I want to go home.
Can I help you?
Hi, are you the Natterstedts?
Yes, we are.
I'm sorry to inform you there's been a car accident today. Your daughter, Tess, I'm sorry, sir, she was killed in the crash.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
I can't believe that.
A drunk driver T-boned the car that she was in with her friends.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Is it okay if I come in?
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna walk right over the green door over there. I have probable cause to believe that you are in physical control of the motor vehicle in violation of Minnesota State Statute 169A.20. I place you under arrest for DWI. There's people involved in the motor vehicle accident or collision resulting in property damage, personal injury, or death.
Sergeant Dwayne Siegschlag never misses an opportunity to remind people to buckle up, and there's a very important reason why.
Sam hopped in the passenger seat of a car. Her friend was driving. They buckled up and they hit 52 and went northbound. Samantha tried to give her driver an update, and she reached over to tap her on the arm. When the driver looked away, the car drifted into the median, and at 80 miles an hour they hit a culvert. And the car somersaulted and rolled about 5 times. She was pitched around in there, but when the car stopped rolling, she was still in her seat because she had her seatbelt on. But all of that rolling around broke her neck, and she had an injury to her spinal cord. When I got the call at about 3:30 in the morning, it was just that they'd been in a crash, that it didn't sound serious, and they were going to need a ride home. When I got down there and I found her in the emergency room, I thought it was strange that there were so many somber-looking deaf kids sitting in the waiting room. And when I got to her exam room, I wasn't able to hold on to her hand because the spinal cord injury was making that too painful for any pressure at all on her hand. I still feel relief. I still find the whole episode to be incredulous. I can't believe that she survived when you look at the damage to the car and you understand how fast they were going and how violently it rolled. If it wasn't for the seatbelt, she wouldn't be here. She would have been killed. I was very fortunate in that my daughter survived because she had her seatbelt on, and if I could, I would stand on every rooftop in the metro area and shout it out to wear your seatbelt because it works.
It's great that story had a happy ending. Mm-hmm. Many White Bear Lake police officers go beyond the call of duty, but you don't always hear about it.
Here's an example.
So I put the lights on there.
A police car outside the White Bear Lake Library didn't mean there was an emergency, just a special guest on hand for children's story time.
The rear-wheel drive ones are a little hard to drive in the wintertime.
We have the police coming, so we try and get community members to come in and talk to the kids about different things that I can't provide in story time. We try and do that quarterly to connect with the community, and it's a lot of fun, especially for something like the police where they can bring a squad car. The kids and the parents really love that.
Officer Nate Hook from the White Bear Lake Police Department was on hand to read to the kids. After a few books and songs from the children's librarian, it was Officer Hook's turn to do some reading.
This is my neighborhood. The police station is in my neighborhood.
Officer Hook, who is originally from New Zealand, used to be a high school teacher before becoming a cop in the United States. Reading to preschool kids was a new assignment for him, though.
It was probably one of the scarier things I've done. Even as a high school teacher, you know, the bigger kids are different, so the little ones are like, whoa. Yeah, so it was a different challenge, but yeah, fun.
After reading to the kids, Officer Hook showed off some of the items a police officer carries on their belt.
Obviously, it has the gun, as the young man mentioned here.
He says coming to story time was a good way to teach the kids about his profession.
A lot of parents will unfortunately say things like, look, there's a police officer. If you don't behave, I'm going to have him arrest you. And of course, that's an extremely negative connotation for a police officer because the majority of our role is helping. People come to us for all sorts of issues, as I said to the kids, medicals, civil issues, things like that, where people need assistance or even just plain old advice about what to do. And we're often the first port of call for all sorts of issues. It's not the bad stuff or the negative stuff that we're often associated with.
Anna Hazy Krieger is the children's librarian at the White Bear Lake Library. She reads to the kids every Friday morning and says story time is more than just fun for the kids.
It's promoting literacy and reading, but the kids just have so much fun. They have no idea all of the amazing skills that they really are building and learning. I mean, something as simple as doing a song where you go up and you go down, or they're listening, that's preparing them to listen, translate those actions, self-control. So many skills, and all those silly little things that we do are really fundamental building blocks for getting kids ready to read.
Storytime at the White Bear Lake Library is every Friday morning at 10:30.
It's no secret I love getting dressed up for Halloween, but who would have thought Ron loved to dress up? Well, let's just take a look at the next story.
I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do.
Halloween, as a kid, I loved it.
There was just a really cool house that was all dark and scary, and the guy sat out there and he had a dummy that sat out there, and so you'd walk up thinking you were walking up to him to get the candy, but it was the dummy and he would be standing and kind of walking around. I try to be that house.
I remember getting all dressed up and having our cheesy costumes and having, the plastic masks on our face, and and you're trying to breathe and you got all this moisture building up between your face.
We didn't have a whole lot of money, so we did a lot of makeup and kind of worked with the stuff that we had. Clowns, vampires, different things that you could do without purchasing costumes.
And my dad would always dress up in something goofy and go out trick-or-treating with us.
We would get pillowcases, and the pillowcases would be filled with candy.
We wouldn't get like a big grocery bag full of candy. I think it was our parents' theories to enjoy in moderation.
I like really scary movies.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I'm your boogeyman, that's what I am. I'm here to do whatever I can.
I like to be scary. I like to have blood or missing something, or I've got one picture with the throat slashed, and I like to be realistic. I want it to look accurate.
A French-made costume I would definitely not wear, just because all my friends would probably say, I wonder what kind of underlying thoughts Ron has about if he secretly likes to dress like this, even on, when it's not Halloween. Halloween doesn't seem that long ago, yet we're in a new year already.
I know. What was your favorite part of 2014?
Oh gosh, my favorite part, there's a lot of fun stuff we were involved in through the fire department. I think the calendar thing was kind of a big thing, was kind of a fun thing, interesting. How about you?
Yeah, I think our 2 episodes that we did with the police officers and, the male and female, because they've never been involved in our shows before as a big group like that, so that was kind of a big deal. So I appreciate their cooperation and being on the show, and had fun with it. So.
Yeah, those are great stories.
Pretty cool.
We want to hear your favorite story or memory of 2014. Remember to visit Lake Area Beats Facebook page to share stories, ideas, and comments.
We love to hear from our viewers, so please share your thoughts with us. We're just about out of time, but we leave you with a look back at a memorial for fallen officers.
Thanks for watching and best wishes in the new year. See you next time.
We don't want people to forget those officers that have died in the line of duty or have been injured in the line of duty. Want to make sure that their families aren't forgotten.
Saw the place where I could always stand, a shoulder I could lean on.
It's been said that God has a plan for each of us. Yes, so then most would agree that God's plan for Josh and that he becomes St. Paul Street Cop. Friends and co-workers would often comment that Josh's blood wasn't red like most. It was blue. At least blue.
I think it's important for my children to celebrate who their dad was, to celebrate him as a hero and also as their father.
Selfless with your life. What are we gonna do?
It was something when Mike passed away and when I met Todd, it told him this is always going to be part of my life and my kids' life, and it's remembering their dad. They were so young and I never want them to forget that.
I remember the middle of the night getting the phone call from Mom saying Tommy's been killed. And the first thing you think of is, oh no, not Tom.
Tommy Decker, end of watch, November 29th, 2012.
And ask my wife. Sorry. To do one of the hardest things a police wife should ever have to do. I picked her up and I took her down to tell a fellow wife that her husband was never to come through that door.
Joshua, Philip Wino, end of watch.
Sean Silvera, end of watch.
Michael Pollock. Send them now.